up, sick philosophers? I'm really glad that we like continued on this topic, because I feel like after last week there was a lot that was like left unsaid, and I totally see where all of you guys are coming from. Like, Jess's video like pretty much explained what feminism is at its very, very core, and that it just wants equal rights for women and men. Like, that's all it is, essentially. And I totally saw where you were coming from, Kathy, like why feminism is actually called feminism, because it does seem kind of backwards. Like, if we wanted equality, then why would it be called like equalitism? And your video like made me think a whole lot, because while I do consider myself like a feminist, there are a lot of parts of feminism that I don't necessarily agree with, and it kind of goes in all like aspects. Like, a lot of movements that I consider myself proponents of, but there's like still pieces of it that I don't like PETA, for example. Like, I try not to use any products that test on animals, and I think that in the cosmetics industry, cruelty to animals is unnecessary. But I don't like the way that PETA goes about it. So, I mean, 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. I've actually taken some classes, not like women's studies classes, but classes where we talked about like first wave feminism and second wave feminism. And I feel like, as the oldest person on this channel, I feel like the wise auntie or whatever, I kind of wanted to educate you guys at the bare level. So first wave feminism was when like the women's suffrage movement initially started. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, that small group of women who wanted the right to vote, and they started it. They pioneered that idea, and that was like the bare minimum of what first wave feminism was. Like, women just wanted to vote, because that's one of our most basic American rights, is the right to vote. When I think of myself as like a feminist, I kind of go back to that original ideal, in that it wasn't muddled by so many things. It was powerful, but it wasn't extreme. And then second wave feminism came in the 60s, and it went through the 80s, and it was like right around like when Vietnam was happening, and it was right around like that hippie, peace-loving, love everybody era, and everybody was kind of having their sexual awakening. And that is when like reproductive rights came into the discussion, and during second wave feminism is when Roe v. Wade passed. And second wave feminism is still like a pretty like tame idea compared to like third wave feminism. And second wave feminism is still like, has a really great message. It's just kind of expanded it past like citizen rights and more into like body and sexual rights. That is a lot of what's kind of being talked about right now, like with the political things being discussed. But third wave feminism is where most of the negative connotations came from, because it got so extreme. Third wave feminism came like in the 80s and the 90s, when like Lilith Fair was happening, and like Riot Girl punk rock happened, and I can't remember what band it was, but there was like this punk band that I think in the 90s, like the lead singer got up on stage, she said something obscene about men, and like pulled her tampon out, swung it around, and threw it out into the audience. And that is where most of the negative connotation around feminism comes in. Third wave feminism and like the extreme feminist events and things that happened made everybody think that all feminists were like crazed, lesbian, angry, man-hating people. And that's where I kind of came up with the term she-woman man-hating club. And that's not really what it should be. Like, there's so many things, like how I said PETA, and like, religion is not a bad thing. Religious extremism is terrible. Anything that really is extreme, except like extreme flavor, is not a good idea. And so much of what is looked down upon and what is feared, I guess, in feminism is the extreme feminists. It's just those people are the loudest, and it's unfortunate, because the bare ideals of feminism, as weirdly as it is named, like you said, Kathy, is that we want to have equal rights. And so much of what people put behind it now is that when women want equal rights, they're hating on men all the time. While with certain things, there are definitely male-dominated industries, like large corporations. Men control it. That's just how it is. But Like, at least in my state, like, our governor is a lady and both of our senators are ladies. We got females representing us in Congress, and that's pretty awesome. Like, we're the only state in our country that has all three of them as women. I wish it wasn't so rare. Like, I wish that there were more women in politics that could represent us all. And, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in a state where we're represented pretty well. And I think at least up here in this general region, the Pacific Northwest is a pretty docile region of America. We're just so chill and calm, and part of that has to do with our weather. Like, our weather is mild and our people are mild. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We just don't tend to go for extreme anything. I mean, we're both blue states. Washington and Oregon are both blue states, and it kind of always has been that way. And so, like, coming from up here, I don't necessarily get to see a lot of extreme anything. Like, we don't have a whole lot of protests, and when we do, they're generally really, really, like, not boring, but, like, civil. I wish that what people got to see around the world of feminism wasn't burning bras and throwing tampons and, like, hating on men and, like, just that mob mentality, because it's counterproductive. And I was thinking about this while I was driving home, that when a movement has a faction that is extreme, it's counterproductive to be extreme, because you're not expanding your message to a broad audience, and not that many people are going to connect with it. So you're not going to make that much of a difference when you're doing things in extreme ways. And I hope that at least this feminist awakening, I guess, in the last year, I hope that the way that women go about it is not the extreme way. I hope it's powerful enough to counteract the extreme bigotry that's going on in Congress, but not to the point where people are gonna think we're a bunch of crazy ladies on our periods, because then we won't get anything done. And I think if we wanted feminism to succeed this time, we're gonna have to do it in a way that doesn't alienate all men, because that defeats the purpose. Because if we want equal rights, we're gonna have to try to reach across the gender binary or whatever. If what people understand of feminism is women just, like, hating on men, that's just not gonna, it's not gonna do anything for our cause. And I think if we went back to the happiness and love and the just everybody loving each other and just, I don't know. It's a really complicated issue, and I feel like I've kind of covered it a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna go now. Leave comments. Things. I don't know. Okay, bye guys!